The pizza is good.
We'll go ahead and call the Tuesday, July 19th meeting of the Economic Development Authority to order. I'm not sure what I guess for the video we probably should do the roll call. Tom Marzlak,
Jessica Bonniwell.
Michael Sommerfeld.
Dr. Sonia Torveld.
all right. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Need a second? I'll second. Okay, Kirby, approving the agenda?
Yep.
Okay, and Sonia? Aye. I say aye also. Approval of minutes, same thing. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes? We don't have the minutes attached, but I do have a copy.
So moved.
Yeah, if anybody wants to read it, so.
I already read it. Oh, there it is attached, isn't it?
Page 3.
Oh, it wasn't attached to mine.
Oh, there's no pages on it. I don't know. I thought I emailed it out like that.
That's weird. Well, I printed it, I mean, this is all I
Is
have to do. I have it here.
Oh, okay.
I went back and printed it, so. Anyway, your motion to approve the agenda, or approve the minutes, I'm sorry.
So moved.
I'll second. Kirby,
Yep.
I say aye.
Aye.
All right. Treasurer's report.
Just a piece from the last meeting, nothing has really happened since then.
Nothing's changed.
No,
Yeah.
no.
And then the accounts payable, we just need to get those signed by a few people, so.
As far as the revolving loan fund, what kind of hoops would we have to jump through to access that money? I know it's a state regulated thing, right?
I can see when the next time the renewal comes up,
Okay.
because we get contacted when it's, time to update it. I can call assistance
Okay,
CPA
I
and
was
find
just-
out what
I
the
was just curious.
limitations are in it.
Yeah, okay. And then our accounts payable, I think other than pizza, we probably shouldn't have.
No, this will be first.
Okay. Okay, old business, the main topic of discussion today above all is the reserve. As everyone well knows, Gary Brummer and JP and Associates, I think that's what they're called.
JP Brooks or something? Yeah.
JP Brooks and Associates, yeah. They were going to go ahead and move forward on developing the preserve. And it was going to be, townhomes and all that out there. Well, they came in and we had a meeting and they requested tax increment financing. So we got Shannon Sweeney involved because he's our expert on that. And Shannon put a list of questions together that they had to come back to us with. This was January
Yeah.
or December maybe
Yeah.
even. So it's been 6 or 7 months and they have not responded, have not provided us with any information. Meanwhile, we have another developer, Ron Vasica, who is interested in purchasing the property since he owns the property to the south of the preserve. So that would give him another ingress and egress point from his development down there. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jessica, that his comment was he would buy it if the price was right. And because the city's not going to be making any money on the property.
And if they can make their numbers work, I think with that too. But I think with this addition, it would be able to make their numbers work.
Yeah. So I think Ron's on board. There are some issues with the infrastructure out there that we're all aware of, and I think, we need to make sure that Ron is aware that he goes in eyes wide open. We don't want to, try to cover something up and
Blindsided.
be deceitful on things. There are some infrastructure improvements that are going to be necessary to be done out there. So the question we're faced with today is I need to take a vote on what people think about basically going back to Gary Brummer and JP Brooks and saying, you guys had long enough to respond. We're going to give you your $2,000 back or whatever they gave us, and we're going to start fresh. So Kirby, do you have any comments on that?
Sorry, I'm just trying to get some of the background noise down before I came in.
Oh, yeah, no
I
problem.
think we need to, if we can get out of that deal, I think we need to get out of it because they're not showing any progress. Ron wants to do something there if it works out. And if that doesn't work out, I actually know somebody who's interested in purchasing it as well so that they can put up the 8 plexes or whatever is out there. And they're well aware of what the issues are as far as the infrastructure. So
Okay.
I think if they don't want to move forward with it, then I think we need to move on to somebody else who wants to move forward with developing out there.
Okay. Dr. Sonia, your thoughts? I always catch you with your mouth full, I'm sorry.
Well, just thinking about it, it's been 6 months
At
minimum.
least, yeah.
Did they have a deadline?
We did not, well, Shannon gave him a deadline.
He
because
did.
He
Because
gave
he
him
was trying
several
to get
deadlines.
some, analysis done and all of that. He did give him I thought it was like February or March
Yeah,
or
it was way
something.
back early in the
And he
year.
never received all the information he asked for, so he couldn't go forward with his analysis or do anything to get that information back to us.
Yeah,
Was there not an original agreement about a deadline to purchase it? I thought we had signed a.
Yeah, there isn't like an intent for sale, and the dates in there are way past. I mean, stuff was supposed to happen within like a year, I think, and that was back in like 2020, because Deb signed it.
Okay, so we're way over those dates, we're way over those dates. I think it would be good to reach out to them, say, hey, I don't know, I think we should move on.
well,
I don't,
they have been reached out to several times. I think what has to happen here is that they need to receive a letter from our attorneys terminating the deal. That may bring them out of the woodwork and come forward and, you know.
And we'll see what they say.
Yeah. What do you think about that, Kirby? Have Mary,
I think it'd be a good step of just, basically telling them that we need you to step up and do something, or we're going to exit out of the agreement and refund your money.
okay, if we do that, we're gonna have to give them another deadline.
3 months?
No. I think Ron would like
30
to,
days, I mean.
I think Ron would like to move forward,
60 days, yeah.
I would say the end of August. Today's the 18th or 19th of
Should be
July.
plenty of time for them to respond, and if they want to move forward and are aggressive and motivated, at that time, I guess we can
Would they
reconsider.
be required to just respond within that 30-day or 45-day time frame, or would they have to complete the purchase of the property in that time frame?
See, that's what I'm saying. I think giving them another deadline is just gonna extend this thing one more time. I think we need to say, you have missed all the deadlines, to date, have not provided us the information for TIF, and the city, looking at growth in the city, we need to move on. I think it has to be that defined. We're walking away from it. We're gonna give you your money back and say, nice doing business with you, but we haven't done business with you.
Right.
I agree. If that's the plan, I think if we're just gonna walk away from it and give them their money back, I think that's the course we need to take. I thought we were discussing giving them a deadline to
No.
do something.
No, I'm not in favor of that. Sonia, I don't know how you feel about that, but.
I go back and forth since a community member and everything else, but he's not treated us fairly, so that's why I go back and forth.
I mean, we can't wait
I feel like-
forever.
Yeah, they have been given ample time to respond
Yeah.
and to contact us and to ask for an extension, and they have done none of those
And I know
things.
Shannon has contacted them several times looking for that information.
Right.
They
Oh.
basically ignore them.
Then I think they're not
Excuse me.
able or available.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I guess I would put forth that we need to have Mary or our attorneys write them a letter based on non-compliance or not meeting any deadlines, that we are terminating the sale and refunding their, wasn't it a couple $1,000s if I remember
Yeah, it's $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah, and be done with it.
Agreed.
We have another buyer, I mean, we don't even have to tell them we have another buyer for the property, it's just, we're done screwing around. So, I guess, we'll take a vote on that. Kirby?
Was that your motion?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll make a motion to, yeah,
Put it down as a
have
motion.
Mary, our attorneys, write a letter to Gary Brummer and J.P. Brooks and Associates terminating an agreement because of lack of interest or lack of moving forward, missing deadlines, lack of communication, list all those things. So the city decides that in order to progress on that property, we need to move forward and cancel the agreement.
I'll second that.
Dr. Sonia?
Yes.
Okay, yes here too. So
Yep.
motion passes 3-0.
Yeah, I believe it was even almost a year ago already now that we contacted them the last time to say, you know, you're not making any progress with this. We need to push forward. And then they did a couple little things and asked for TIF and came in here and talked to
Yeah,
us
I mean,
and then disappeared. So,
Basically, for a couple of grand, he's tying up that property.
yeah, and that's not fair. I mean,
No.
I get calls about that. I get at least 1 or 2 a month. I mean, just asking what the status of it is and if it's still for sale and, so I
Is
mean,
it
people out
other
there.
developers or?
We never really get that far because I always kind of say, you know, we are in the process of a sale agreement with somebody, but it could fall through, so keep an eye out and, you know,
Okay,
monitor us or call back in a couple
Okay.
months kind of a thing.
all right, so you'll get a hold of Mary then?
Is
and-
is our vote good for canceling that agreement, or is that gonna have to go to the full council? I'm just curious.
I will ask Mary.
Okay. And if not, then you'll be, or either way, you'll be in contact then with Ron about his interest in getting that property?
Yep.
Yeah, if we could get it on our special council meeting, that would be great.
Just a
If it
workshop.
if it has to go to.
Oh, just a workshop now?
It's just a workshop?
Just a
now?
workshop, yeah.
Oh. Okay. I thought it was a special council meeting. Did I miss something somewhere? When did that change?
Oh, it's always been a workshop.
Oh,
We're just gonna have discussions.
okay. So you want me about Biden-esque?
Which one?
Okay, all right. So as far as I'm concerned, that's kind of ending the preserve TIF discussion. Development updates, Overson, we're still waiting for them to sign the development agreement,
Yes.
developers agreement.
I talked to him yesterday,
Uh-huh.
because the property needs to be mowed out there, so I talked to him about that. And he said, I know that, I believe it was right around $56,000 is what's due in conjunction with signing that developer agreement.
Mhm.
He said that that was a lot of money and they're still working on that piece of it before they come in and sign. So hopefully it still goes forward and goes through.
Okay. And then Northridge 6th edition, we do have a developers agreement on that, right?
Yeah. I have to check with the engineers. They were working on approving the amount submitted by LGI's engineers for the line of credit and getting that approved, and then the developer agreement can be approved and they can come in and sign.
Okay. Okay, so we're pretty sure that's gonna happen.
Yes, I
Okay.
believe so, yeah.
Okay, then we have Creekside. Creekside is right by where I live.
Yep, it's right south of
Yeah, just
Cole
south
Avenue.
of, yeah. And they're wanting us to pay 2/3 of a creek crossing. Basically, it's a concrete,
Like a culvert or,
Culvert.
yeah.
yeah, box culvert, I think is what they call it, yeah. And we're not gonna do that. I mean, we'd have every developer in the world asking us to pay 2/3 of everything. So, we wanna make sure that they're gonna do this development in phases, and we wanna make sure that they're not gonna do the 2 phases that are north, would be north of the creek, right? Yeah, north of the creek.
I don't think they can. I think even the engineers have already said that if they go forward with this, that the first phase would be required to be the one off of 7th Street there because
Okay.
of the exit and stuff. And then
Okay.
they have to make that connection to Cole in order to go on to another phase.
Yeah, because I hate that.
Or require that connection as part of the first phase. I think that's what they said the other day.
Yeah, because I'm sure everybody out in Forest Creek would object to adding more traffic down Breckenridge without another egress or ingress point.
Right.
So that's kind of where we are with Creekside. Have we responded to them about that?
No.
I know we were going to.
Yeah,
I think Bolton and Nick was going to tell them,
okay.
but I'm not sure they did. Okay. Any other discussion on those three developments?
So North Ridge and Creekside.
Mhm.
And Southridge.
Yeah, Southridge. I'm not sure I know what's going on at Southridge.
We just received a pretty basic, just like a concept plan from them last week. Just a really roughing of it.
That's LGI, right?
LGI
Yeah.
again. Yep.
And where's that located?
South of 25, kind of in between 110 and 25.
Oh,
Is that the large development that they were talking about?
Yep.
yeah, and are you aware of our wastewater limitations?
No,
Okay, we are about 85% capacity on our wastewater treatment plant.
between here and Waverly.
Mhm. So,
They keep wanting to build all these houses, but have they ever talked about, or would it be possible for us to bring up to them bringing in something else to help sustain all these houses, like some sort of a grocery store or strip mall area? Because if you had as many houses as they're looking to add, I mean, you're talking about a 30% increase in your population, and that's quite a large amount without having any of those other pieces in place.
yeah, but normally a developer won't go out and build homes and commit to building a grocery store. You have to go to the grocery store people or the fast food people or the, gas station people and say, hey, we've got a commitment to build 300 more homes in our community and, we don't even have a grocery store, and try to convince them that way. Maybe we go back to
Right, that's
Aldi.
what I'm saying. I wouldn't expect them to build it, but I would imagine they would have the connections to be able to get some of that moving if they want to, this large of a, area to come in and to build on, that maybe they would put a little effort in to help, bring some of the other pieces in that we would need.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that, Curry. We have to make sure that we don't overextend our wastewater treatment plant right now, because we can build, according to Bolton and Mank, they're actually working on an expansion for wastewater treatment right now. We can build about roughly 200 more homes
Between Waverly and
and here.
Montrose.
before we're maxed out. And that's not much, because we've got,
And that's
we've got
including
developers
already
here.
platted ones, right? That's including ones that have already been approved.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the developers we're talking about here, we're probably looking at, what, 500 homes or 400 homes? Something in that neighborhood? So, I
So it
mean,
might be,
Autumn Winds alone was 220, if my memory serves me correctly, which I wouldn't count.
Yeah, if he goes back and does that in preserve, yeah. Plus,
So, we need to
Creekside.
make some moves on wastewater treatment. Water treatment will come as, the state gets their act together and decides what they want to do with the salt in the water and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have to fine tune a water treatment plant to accommodate and mitigate that. But I'm not sure we have definitive numbers that we can even, look at. Bolton, I think, is also working on a water treatment plant too, so,
to possibly be regionalized with Waverly
yeah.
as well as the wastewater.
And then you wind up in the arm wrestling, who's gonna run it? Do you have a committee run it, and then both cities?
Send employees.
Yeah.
But those are things to be figured out
Yeah.
in the future. But
Yeah, And I don't know, I'm hearing mixed things on Connie. Is Connie running again? Do you know?
Nobody knows.
She told me that she's done. She's done it for 12 years. She said she's not gonna run again.
That's what I heard too.
I've heard that as well.
Do we, does Waverly understand that we're up against the wall on the wastewater treatment plant, and that means that
Yes.
if somebody has to stop developing, they're the first ones that are gonna have to stop developing?
Yeah, they are aware of it. We talked about it during the meeting we had with them about the water treatment facility as well, and kind of told them that they need to give us a heads up if they're approving any more development. They don't have any active development going on right now, so anything that we haven't already accounted for. So, but they know that they need to let us know if they're gonna do any development, and probably try to hold off for now because we need to get this figured out.
Yeah.
So
And we're still working on the funding aspect of that, being that they're, a third of what goes through there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll have to draw up a new contract. I'm sure the other one, I think that one expires next year, early next year anyways.
Yeah, I don't know if Waverly has any more room for development out there. I don't know where they could expand.
I don't think, Connie said there's nothing that's like shovel ready,
Okay.
but there is land and
There's land.
and there's land that could be annexed in, so.
Well, as long as there's farmers, there's land.
Yeah.
It all depends on how much money they want.
Is there, I think they're working on that industrial area right now.
Yeah.
Behind the bank.
Right.
Okay.
That's what she said in her state of the
And the
city.
state of the city, yep.
Okay. So just to let you know about developments, it's kind of sad. We've been pushing this and pushing this and pushing this, and fortunately our previous public works director didn't ever answer my question when I asked him about where we were in wastewater treatment until after he retired, and then Danny answered the question, and I was in shock. So. Because that's one of the things I asked when I started in this job about that, but nobody seemed to know or want to answer it. But anyway, moving on. Our EV charging station, I have made several attempts to get a hold of Steve to find out where they were, and I'm hearing crickets. So that's not a good sign. I even left a message on his cell phone, and he hasn't responded. Now, we've been over backwards. We've provided a lot of data. We got University of Minnesota involved with demographics, and we provided them more information than they ever could possibly imagine, and here we are. So I would venture a guess at this point in time that they got the cart before the horse, and they're not ready to move forward. And they talked about having investors, and I don't know how people would invest in something they don't even have a business plan.
Right. Well, and maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe they had to go back to the drawing board and get a business, somebody have to help them with a business plan and all that, because you can't go to a bank or get any funding without stuff like that.
Well, they asked
So,
us to help.
yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's not something that we do, so.
No, that's not something we do.
Anyway, I wouldn't put that high on the list of happening here in the next couple of years. So, all right, any other discussion on old business? Hearing none, I will move new business. Kirby, I think you wanted to talk about apartment development.
Yeah, and I brought it up to you, and I mentioned it to Jess too. I have a friend that is very into wanting to expand his rental business that he has, and he wants to build some sort of either apartments or eightplexes, townhomes, whatever he can kind of do. He's looking at wanting to do apartment complexes. And so that's kind of what I was just kind of reaching out about, is to see what we had available for that type of development in town. I mean, I know we have the two different, apartment areas, but, one of them is very old, and the last time I was in there, it was in rough shape, and that was 12 years ago. And the other ones, you know, they're dated as well, and those are condos that are individually owned for the most part, other than about 2 groups that own 10 each. But I don't know. I'd mentioned to him if there was apartment developing that we would want something, you know, whether it be a small grocery store or fast food or whatever in the bottom area of it, so that it was a 2-for-1, and that they would bring in other things other than just, we're bringing in 400 people to live in town, and then we're walking out the door. So
Yeah, well, Dr. Snowy, what are your thoughts on that, on apartments?
Well, it depends what we're looking at and what kind of apartments they're looking at. Are we looking at Section 8 housing? Are we looking at something more high, quality? That makes a whole big difference.
that was actually something that he had asked too when I had brought it up to him. And he had said, well, what are you looking for? And I said, well, affordable housing. And his question then was, what does that mean to you? I said, well, I go not necessarily Section 8, because that can generally bring a lot of problems, and I've heard that from people who own rentals that say that. But somewhere in that, you get a 2-bedroom apartment and it's $800 a month. You get a 3-bedroom apartment, it's $900 to $950. And he said that's exactly what I would be thinking if I were going to be doing apartments like that. Some similar to the apartments that in Buffalo, not downtown, but they're kind of over by where their little strip mall and the Domino's area is.
Okay.
Well, St. Michael's, all that area up there, Otsego, they're building apartment complexes up to Yin Yang.
Like crazy.
And I guarantee you won't get any of those apartments for $800 or $900 a month, okay? Those are the only kind of apartments that I would even think we'd want to have in town here. And then the second segue to that is that without the other infrastructure, without the businesses to support that, fast food, another gas station, all those kinds of things, would people really want to move out here, without those amenities available to them? So that's a kind of a question we have to ask ourselves. And then where would we locate these apartments? I'm not sure we have land available. You and I talked on the phone about available land for apartments, and I don't know where they would build those. Unless,
I agree. I've thought about it numerous times. The only spot that I could even think, if you were to put up, say, a 3-building complex that I could go, would be over by where the new water tower is going to go up off of 3rd, and that would be it. Other than that, the only other places for rentals really is the preserve. So, but I agree. Somebody bringing in a bunch of apartments and stuff like that, they would need to also bring in some sort of businesses with them to help offset what it would put on, the stress on the infrastructure.
yeah. Well, I know you're not in favor of Section 8
Well,
apartments or housing.
I'm not, how can I say, I want to do what's best for the community, and I don't know that adding Section 8 housing is going to improve our community.
Right.
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
I agree.
We have enough already.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I told him too. I said, if that's something you're looking at, it would be something that when you move out of your parents' home at 22, 23, that's your first apartment. That's your first step to going and living there, where it's still affordable and it's still close to home, not necessarily where you're going to go and live for the next 25 years of your life.
Right. Yeah, you have kind of the young influx into apartments, and you have people my age that are trying to get away from a house, moving back into apartments. I'll die before I move back into an apartment. Not gonna happen. I'll live in a tent in somebody's backyard at first. Anyway, I digress.
So apartments, I'd rather see, well, senior living
Yeah,
versus Section 8.
Yeah?
apart, like senior housing or senior apartments, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think like 4 years ago, weren't we talking about senior living out at the
At the
preserve?
yes.
Who
Yeah.
was that talking about that? Was
I
it
don't know if it
another
was-
developer
I
or
don't
was
know if
that
it
just
was
That was
us?
Brummer?
Brummer.
That's what
It
I
was
thought it was
Brummer?
Brummer originally, and then he
Brummer
kind of,
had the plan that they were going to change the infrastructure out there
Yeah.
and put up houses and then the little cottages and then a senior living because it was somewhere for a close family member of his to go and live.
there's also some unfinished plats, I don't know what to call them, out in Meadowbrook where Ross Danielson owns those little cottages.
Mhm.
I think the plan for that was to also put in like some sort of apartment building and like another like recreational area and things
Mhm.
like that. And that never got finished out either, so I don't know if he would be open to a developer coming in and helping finish that or selling that to the developer, I don't know.
Who was that again, Ross?
Ross Danielson,
But I'd rather see
Are
the
those the
senior.
cottages?
and
that
and
have
that's what
the-
it is right now, it is for senior living,
Yeah.
the little cottages that are out there.
Mhm.
And then I think the apartments and things were supposed to be for more like assisted living or, that option would be available.
Mhm. I'd rather see that. I mean,
Yeah.
that is something that's gonna be needed.
Absolutely, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandparents just moved into a place in Inver Grove Heights and they were on a waiting list for a few months before
Yeah.
they even got a chance.
That's what
So-
everybody tells me. If we had that out here, it'd be filled up before
Yep.
it was even finished.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it'd be nice to attract a developer that would want to do that.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. There's probably not enough money in it, profitability. I mean, I hate
Even
to,
I don't know if that gets like subsidized or I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah. Usually elderly people sign over everything they own.
Yeah. So it would just be rentals or, you know,
Yeah.
how they would make money.
Okay, well, appointment, or comments noted, Kirby, on the apartments. I mean, I think we all agree that we're not looking at, you know, slumlord type apartments. We're looking at something nice like St. Michael's. I mean, St. Michael's building some nice apartments out there. But anyway, but St. Michael's also has the infrastructure to support all that, you know, they've got all the retail businesses and, you know.
Those
Yeah,
apartments talking about.
now, he actually did some research in Montrose and that's why he's so interested in the preserve now because the infrastructure's out there, you can see the infrastructure by satellite and so that's kind of what he's looking at. That's why I said if the Ron is not interested, he may actually just really jump at the opportunity even with having to fix the infrastructure because it's already in place, you don't have to pay for that.
Okay. Well, when we talk to Ron, we might want to mention that. Let me get him to put it in scurry mode a little bit, you know? That we do have a developer interested in, you said he'd build townhomes, or is he stuck on apartments?
No, he was okay even, because I told him that it's plotted right now for at least four plexes, but I thought it was 8 plexes is what it was.
Yeah, I think they're 8 plexes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but, and he said that works out really well, so.
Okay. Okay. All right, and then the next topic we have here is the never-ending battle trying to figure out how to attract businesses to Montrose. But I got a mushy spot on the side of my head here from banging against the wall regarding Aldi, so I don't know where else to go. I don't think the Hy-Vee thing is going through. David didn't seem too positive about that with the little store, I forget what they call them.
Like a Fast and Fresh or whatever they call
Fast and
them.
Fresh, or yeah, something like that. So, I don't know. Does anybody have any ideas what else we can do? Everything we seem to sink our teeth in winds up falling apart.
Yeah, what I heard about Hy-Vee is that they're not expanding right now anymore. They've stopped everything other than what is already being built, from what I was told, so.
Oh, okay. And what about that chicken joint?
They still weren't interested. I've also reached out to, it's amazing you can find on the internet now. So I've emailed CEOs of a couple different fast food restaurants just to try to get somebody interested. And of course, you get the generic reply from the secretary saying that we'll put you on our list and, you know, we'll be in contact if we're interested in more information in the future. So I don't know. I don't know what to try to get out here.
You think people would just be interested because it's right on Highway 12 and there's so much traffic going
Yeah.
through.
What if we tried the approach to contacting them, the CEO, with a demographic package or something like that, instead of just saying, hey, are you interested in selling chicken in Montrose, you know? I'm being
I'm guessing
facetious, of
they would
course.
want to probably need it to go more through the proper channels of, you know, whoever we have that contacts potential businesses, go through their broker or whoever they use and go that route.
Well, that's what I did with Aldi, and you see how far we got with that one. They have a checklist, and if you don't check all the boxes on a checklist, they don't even want to hear what else you have to say, you know?
I wonder if the Wright County EDA has, or do you know what I mean, has people looking for places and,
Jolene usually sends out emails if there are companies that are looking for a space to be in or land or something like that. And I haven't heard from her lately about anything that's they're looking for.
Yeah, but she's with the partnership. I wonder about the Wright County EDA.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't attended any of their meetings, so I'm not sure what's going on with Wright County EDA. David did.
David went to the last one.
Yeah, and he said it was actually a really good meeting and there was a lot of ideas floating around the room and stuff. So maybe we could try and bring him into a meeting one of these days because he's also a businessman. So he might have some ideas that we aren't thinking of. You know, he's a salesman. He's out there
Yeah,
hawking surly. So I mean,
Yeah,
he might have
right.
some connections or ideas too. So
yeah. Yeah.
and if, where would you be looking to put something? Are you talking on Highway 12 over, you know, east of where the
Mhm.
bank is? Is that what you're thinking, or are you thinking?
That's
Yeah,
the
that-
ideal location.
yeah, that area is still available.
I
and
mean,
that
it's
would be
still
good.
walkable for most people in town
And I
here.
believe with the next, whenever we get redone on Highway 12 here, I thought they were doing some improvements over there.
Hmm.
Like a turn lane maybe, or,
Yeah, because you've got those.
because it's kind of a suicide lane right now sometimes,
Yeah.
trying to pull out of there.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, that was my main question, where there, or are you talking west? Is that's available for something too?
Yeah, the industrial area over by the Excel building, the Turnings Field is for sale.
Yeah, the Wonderman property, once they get the turn lanes in, it will be a lot easier to get in and out of. That was my concern with the charging station guys.
Well, yeah, it's a kind of a dangerous place sometimes. I mean,
Yeah,
you watch people turning out of there, especially when Carpenter Contractors gets out and it's like,
Uh-huh. I know.
or even I've seen them in the morning too, they don't really
Yeah,
put the signal on very far ahead.
yeah,
It's like,
well, and then they're turning left and stopping all the traffic on 12 that's just zooming out of town. And yeah, I've almost seen a couple rear ends for sure, for people flying around them.
Well, I know I talked to that, is it Tina from DOT?
I remember you talking about it, but
Yeah, I talked to her about roundabouts there and the roundabout at Clementa. And the roundabout in Clementa was kind of like the first thought on the list, but that was for a few more years.
Yeah.
But, if they put in
I
autumn
think we're
winds.
slated for like 2025 right now at this
Is
point.
it 25?
So,
Okay,
yeah.
everything
It keeps
moved
getting pushed
3
back.
years, yeah.
And we're not important apparently, so we just keep getting pushed.
Because, I mean, if you have, if you have some development down there off of, south of the preserve, that the autumn wind thing, you're gonna have a nightmare.
Well, it's already, I mean, that's where I come from, and turning from Clinton to either coming from your way or my way can be a nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, sometimes I'll turn left into the turn lane, heading east,
Right.
and people are slamming their
Oh my
brakes and
God.
blowing horns at me,
Yeah.
and it's like, chill, man, I got
I'm
my
not just
signal
gonna
on,
ram
I'm not
into ya.
pulling out in front of you. I'm not an idiot, you know?
Move out of the way, truck's coming through.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. So, I mean, because if you don't do that, you don't get out, you know?
Yeah. No, it's, yeah, sometimes you just gotta go for it,
Yeah.
because it's packed traffic.
So, well, back to attracting businesses, you know, other than putting together a good package with our demographics, you know, I've got more information you can shake a stick at from that guy at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's just packaging it in a fashion that would pique somebody's interest, you know. I don't know what the first 5 bullet points would be, putting a brochure together about Montrose, you
The
know.
EDA brochure is nice. I gave a bunch of copies of those to Jolene for some golfing event that they're
Mm.
having, and it's gonna go in like their swag bag. So,
Oh, okay,
just get the name out there
Oh,
a little
cool.
bit, so
Okay.
maybe we'll get some bites from that, who knows?
yeah. Yeah,
It's kind of well, the whole pandemic has changed. More people are here
mhm,
because they're working from home.
mhm,
Right, and it's, you know, it'd be nice to be able to eat in town and do stuff. I mean, Headlands is nice, but
mhm.
now it's pretty much the only place. I mean,
Mhm.
Casey's, you'll be lucky if you find something hot in there to eat, because it's not always,
I
you
don't
know.
normally eat at gas stations, I'm sorry.
Right, well, right, and that's it, you know, that's not always an option for people, but. they
Yeah, no,
don't
I
eat at
understand,
gas
I
stations,
understand.
but
Yeah,
It would be nice to attract some more businesses here to accommodate people that are in town more, because their business is now here.
yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Because they'll hop in their car and they'll go to Delano or they'll go to Buffalo. you
Which
know.
I do, and Michael does several
Yeah,
times
we
a
all
week.
do, yeah, yeah. Well, even, you know, I go to Delano to wash the cars, you know, get one of those $6 card
Mhm.
car washes, you know.
Mhm,
I get one twice a year, I buy 10 car washes on 2 cards,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
Can't beat that with a stick. And I'm sure that's gonna go up next go around. But, yeah, I don't know, I mean, being a business owner, I don't know. You live in town and you're a business owner, so you got the double whammy there in
Mhm.
terms of trying to figure out what
what would attract somebody to
yeah, what
come
would
here with
attract
their
people to
business?
town, yeah.
Oh, see, and it's so hard for me to answer those questions because I've been here for so long. And I also grew up in a small town in the country. So if I wanted anything ever, I had to travel.
Mhm.
And it usually was 25 minutes.
Mhm.
You just get used to it, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's like, oh, okay.
I run to Buffalo.
Buffalo, Delano, you know, I go maybe every couple weeks. I don't go that often because I also shop ahead.
Yeah.
Or have a freezer full of food, you know, so for me, it's such a weird thing to talk about because I've learned how to do this without, I mean, Dollar General was a great addition that for the temporary.
Mhm.
A grocery store would be great.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of if there's a way to do, you know, I think you need it's hard because you need the people who are gonna go out more often, and I don't know that the people here are gonna do that.
They're gonna go out more often for,
For food.
Dining and stuff?
Yeah. If you're looking at dining, or you need a multi-purpose type thing.
well, you know, when we were talking about the subway out here that failed, I think Carpenter Construction would have kept them alive, just them alone,
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
And I would have done
lunchtime.
there, yeah, I mean, like,
So,
it's too bad that that didn't go through, because
Yeah.
a lot of people were looking forward to that. And, you know, just things like that, you know,
Yeah.
simple things, even, you know, Subway's a simple concept restaurant, it's just sandwiches, you know, so.
Mhm. yeah. Yeah, it's not fine dining by any stretch.
No, but I think there is a going out crowd, talking to some of the council members that go out and about. You know, the bars around town get busy, and like the Red Lodge and Uptown and stuff in Waverly, they get very busy, and Headlands gets very busy and,
Oh yeah, unless you go early in the day, especially on Friday or Saturday, you can't get
I
in.
mean, I feel like the crowd is there, but
Mhm.
it's just where to go.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know what else we can put out there to attract people, you know, that lure at the end of the line kind of thing. I'm fresh out of ideas.
Well, I guess like Subway, you've got carpenter contractors, you also have craft pattern and mold. To put that kind of fast food, any kind, you know, whether it be Subway, Jimmy John's, you
Mhm.
know, any of the sandwich company, you know, or, I mean, any fast food, to put it in that area in front of that,
It would do well.
it would.
Yeah.
Especially if it has more of a variety. And I don't know what that answer is, what that variety is, but Subway is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, I mean, Subway would probably be better than a McDonald's or a Burger King or something like that.
Usually if you know, I go on road trips a lot, you go through small towns and Subway's always the first. You know, if they
Yeah.
have
Or
one
Dairy
place,
Queen.
it's a Subway or Dairy
Subway,
Queen.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yep. Maybe we need to find out, I don't know much about Jimmy John's headquarters, where they're based out of. Maybe they'd be a contact point. I'll have to do some investigating. And do we have another, isn't there another sandwich place?
I'm
It's
trying to think of,
firefighters or something.
There's-
Firehouse subs.
Firehouse,
Subs.
that's it, yeah.
There's Quiznos, which isn't as popular anymore. Subway, Jim John's. Which?
mhm.
Yeah, Quiznos, I don't know. I don't see very many Quiznos anymore.
No, there's, it's funny because there's one in Monticello, but good luck if you want a sandwich.
Why?
Really?
You might need to wait like 2 or 3 hours.
Really?
They lock the door and then they turn off online ordering just to get caught up with stuff. And it's just like, oh.
Jersey Mike's seems to also be expanding in the metro area.
What's it called?
Jersey Mike's.
Oh, Jersey
Yeah.
Mike's.
So I know they just put one in Waconia, so I don't know if that's their market size. I think Waconia might be 5,000 to 10,000.
Well, and it's amazing how many people are actually in Montrose with
Yeah.
the little amount of,
It's nearly 4,000 now with our new 2021 numbers we got. It's like 38 something, yeah, 3840 something. So,
Yeah.
we're growing.
Well, I just think of when I planned, you know, when my wife and I moved out of Minneapolis, neighborhoods that we were looking for, I mean, we were looking for a town really with less. We just wanted something that felt more country, but we still had the focus on what is travelable, but we moved with the idea that we were gonna be traveling. That, you know, we wanted things within 15 minutes, and really, you know, it's great that Montrose is 15 minutes away from things, but because it is,
we're also,
that's, you know, that's to its detriment, because then there's no real catalyst for getting those now. But if you got something that kept those families that are bringing their kid to Delano for McDonald's or Buffalo for whatever, if there was maybe, you know, sandwich shop would be great for those businesses that are in town, because that's gonna be their customer base that are gonna go there all the time,
Yeah.
over by Craft Pattern. But maybe something, a business that would be catered towards a kid's activity or something, because like I said, people are working from home more now, so you've got families at home, you know, with more of a focus on, you know, if your kids didn't go somewhere for school today, or you didn't leave for work, if you don't have to go out that night just to find something to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know, besides like a water park or so, you know, something
Hey.
in town for kids to do, but really it would be something more, a business that would be the draw for other businesses to cater to. Something to draw people in, and then, you know, beyond just more rooftops, because rooftops is a 10, 20-year plan.
Yeah, I mean, we have to make a decision whether we want to be a bedroom community for all end times, or we want to start growing as a small town, small city, you know? Because small cities have those other amenities available to them. Fast food, I mean, you talk to people in the community, there's a lot of young families out in Forest Creek. And, you know, run into them walking a dog and stuff, and And they're going, yeah, we'd like to have a grocery store and some fast food of some type, so we don't have to drive to Delano or Buffalo to get it.
Well, especially loading up the kids in the car and
Yeah.
that hassle of it. And
Yeah.
I get as a young parent that probably gets old.
Yeah.
And that having something right in town here would be
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. And when you look at the demographics, we've got a young population.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of elderly, we've got, yeah,
Kirby and
Kirby.
kids and.
urban kids, that's right. We do have a young population, and that's the kind of things they look for.
The only struggle you have though is, yes, we have a young population. If they have just elementary kids, they're gonna stay in town.
Right.
But
Because
as
that's
soon
where the
as
school
there
is.
any activities,
It's Buffalo. Yep. And then
Yeah.
they're there anyways, so might as well just stop at the McDonald's or the Subway or the Taco Bell or wherever.
or it's the karate is there, or
Yeah.
the dance is there.
Everything is there.
Yeah, and because we did, even when our kids were young, we did a lot of that driving. For dance
Yeah, that'd be nice to get like a dance or karate studio downtown.
or both.
Well, yeah. Well, it could share space even, I mean,
Right.
it's sort of similar setup, so
But, I
You got
mean,
people doing karate in tutus, still would be
Mhm.
interesting.
it would be funny.
well,
Yeah, I see your point, though.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that.
No,
that is
that's a valid point because, yeah, I mean, as soon as I started going to school in Buffalo and doing all my stuff in Buffalo, I wasn't in town much. I mean, just to sleep and catch the bus. Like,
And my kids were always like, why don't we move to Buffalo?
Yep.
No, because once you're gone, I'm gonna be here.
yep.
So, that, I mean, it is a thing, so.
A drive-in theater.
That would be fun.
Be amazing.
That would be fun. We have a couple big fields. We
I
might
don't know
need to
where- I
borrow,
don't even know where a drive-in theater is around here.
It's Litchfield,
yeah,
Where is it?
Litchfield.
not super
Really?
close, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah,
not,
because, when I was a kid, that was what we did.
there's still a few of them around.
Yeah. Of course, we also shopped at the local butcher store / tavern. We'd haul the alley, or the wagon down the alley and come back with all my grandpa's Budweiser beer bottles and whatever grocers. So, yeah. Those days are long gone,
Well,
the corner butcher store. All right, well.
kind of our thinking caps on and maybe come back with some more ideas and.
Yeah, I mean, we've been struggling with that since
For
I've
a
been
long
on,
time,
yeah. So, all right, well, our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, the 16th of August, and maybe we'll have some development on what's going on with the preserve we can discuss and figure out a game plan. With that, I move we adjourn.
Second,
I know all in favor, yay.
okay?
You can get back to work, Kirby. Thanks for coming in.
And I'll see you at 3:30.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'll be back, I may be back in shorts, but I'll be here.
Okay, see you back.
Thanks for coming in, Sonia.
Yeah, no problem.